Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. We are the Mile High Property Brothers, and today we're going to go a little this versus that, but we will be talking about, is Aurora better to live in than Castle Rock?
Oh, controversial. I like it. Let's check it out, guys. What's up, guys? I'm Eli Schmidt. This is my partner, Will Grimes. And if it's your first time checking out our channel, you're going to want to subscribe because every week, guys, we're dropping a ton of content without fail, telling you everything there is to know about moving to or living in the entire Denver, Colorado area.
100%. And we are licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado, which means as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs. So that number that's popping up below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if there's something we can do for you, we would love to do that. But that being said, let's get right into it. We'll be talking about is Aurora, and more specifically Southeast Aurora. Is that worth living in? Is that better than Castle Rock? And just full disclosure, we're like being honest with you guys, we are actually at a new build out here in Franktown / Parker. Like right on the border, we'll call it Douglas County. Phenomenal spot. We'll be giving you guys more about the backside of Parker, Franktown, Elizabeth, and some other areas that are becoming super hot. A lot of acreage, a lot of fun, really cool homes. We're out here for some clients. I'm the client this time.
There we go. That's right.
Either way, we're going to be doing that. We'll be talking about that in the future. But today we'll be speaking more about, hey, what's Southeast Aurora look like? What does Castle Rock look like? And it is very fitting because you do have a lot of new builds in Southeast Aurora and Castle Rock, but they are different, both good. But let's dive into it and let's figure out what works for you.
Okay, so starting off like we typically like to do, let's talk geography, where they are each sitting. So Southeast Aurora is going to sit on the southeast side of Denver.
Correct.
Imagine that. And we're also southeast of Aurora. Aurora is a massive city, so the portion that we're talking about is really the southeast corner of that.
So to be specific, it's right by Southlands Mall. You're right off of like Smoky Hill Road and 470, and then just to the east and southeast of Smoky Hill and 470. Phenomenal area. As far as like commute, that's going to be one of the pluses there is, even though you're tucked back on southeast, if you had to go north up to Boulder, if you had to go down south toward Castle Rock or the Springs or whatever it may be, commute-wise, regardless of which side of Denver you're going to be on, you can wrap around.
Yeah, and then Castle Rock, guys, sits pretty much directly south of Denver. Looking on a map, physically it looks far. However, the proximity to the highway, I-25, Castle Rock pretty much sits right on top of that.
Right.
You can jump on that highway and you're heading straight up to 470 to go east and west like he mentioned, or take it straight up to Denver.
Now, the only spot where I kind of favor Southeast Aurora in this scenario, and we're splitting hairs. These are both great areas, both great school districts. We'll get into that here in a couple of minutes. But if you're going to go I-25 north from Castle Rock, that's your one way in and one way out.
Yep.
As far as getting into Lone Tree, Denver Tech Center, Denver, and depending on how bad weather is, every once in a while we get a bad enough snowstorm where they close that down because some of the elevation changes and how low, it's how sloped the highway gets as you go down into Castle Rock. It gets a little slippery. Sometimes I have to shut that down to just make sure they mitigate a lot
or
of the
an
ice.
accident even.
Or an accident, so like it's that, right? So it's very infrequent that it does happen, but it does happen, and when you've just got that one way to commute, it's a little bit harder versus like Southeast Aurora. You've got Smoky Hill, that'll take you all the way down to Parker Road, which is Highway 83, which takes you to I-225 south or north, or you could also take a left on Parker and go all the way on Parker Road, which is Highway 83, all the way down to the Springs. Super cool, food for thoughts. For verse. Southeast Aurora might be slightly ahead as far as like your avenues of approach in and out of the major city.
And as far as commute time to Denver, they're probably both right around 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Again, Castle Rock, barring that there's no accidents or no dense traffic there for whatever reason.
But you're on the highway, so your average speed limit, even though it seems like Castle Rock is further than Southeast Aurora compared to Denver Tech Center or to Denver, because you're so close to the highway and you're having a lot more of that distance being covered by the highway, your average mile per hour that you're closing ground on is going to be more than like what you would be on like Smoky Hill from Southeast Aurora. So you're right. Commute time overall, probably the same. And again, guys, like we drive down to Castle Rock up and down all the time doing real estate and helping you guys out. Very infrequently is I-25 south or north shut down. So I don't want you guys to overthink that and feel like that could be a huge issue for you. A lot of folks are working from home, or it's at least possible if you have to. So if there is a bad snowstorm, something you guys can do there.
Another major similarity that I want to hit before we really kind of go into some of the differences would be just the overall look and feel. So commercial developments, they are both very, very, very commercially developed areas. Castle Rock and Southeast Aurora have everything that you need from your staples, like grocery stores and Walmart's, Targets, all that sort of thing. But then also outdoor shopping malls and just the more fun shopping centers to go to that might be weekend destinations. Southeast Aurora has Southlands. Castle Rock has an old downtown strip, but then they also have the new outlet malls and Whole Foods and just those other newer commercial
strip
areas.
malls, and it's phenomenal. I would say the only thing about like the outlet malls is on the weekend, especially in the spring and summer, those outlet malls tend to get super busy from people that live outside of Castle Rock that are coming down for those outlet malls. So if you can get some of your shopping done during the week because you live there, probably going to be a lot more time efficient. So yeah, like the influx of people coming to visit Castle Rock on the weekends, it's a bit busier versus like Southeast Aurora. It's not necessarily like a destination, even though Southlands Mall is super cool. Sometimes you got some folks that trickle in from Centennial or Parker, but it's not noticeable over the weekend like some of the Castle Rock outlet malls. But you've got plenty to do down there. And again, if you're living down there and you can get your shopping done on a different day than Saturday, do so.
Demographics. So one thing that's interesting about Colorado as a whole, what we found, people moving from California or just some of these other states where it might be very easy to say, hey, if you're this type of person, you're going to want to live in this area or this area, this area. Colorado really doesn't have that.
No.
There's so much bleed over in the sense of just, I guess, overall diversity from town to town to town, even from political beliefs and like those sort of things. There's really not these major differences. There's so much of a variety in each city. You're not going to see a different type of person in Southeast Aurora versus Castle Rock.
No, everyone enjoys the Colorado experience, and Southeast Aurora and Castle Rock are very heavy as far as like the look and feel of it. And a lot of people enjoy that regardless of political view or professional as far as what you do for a career. And we've had folks come here, and people that don't live here, they tell them, oh, you can't live in Castle Rock. That's a conservative area. And then like, these folks that we are literally under contract with right now buying a home in Castle Rock who are not conservative, super amazing folks.
Yep.
They were super surprised at like how neutral it felt.
Now, speaking of school districts, let's dive into that. So Castle Rock is going to be Douglas County, Southeast Aurora, Cherry Creek.
Yep, and again, very similar. They are both in the top 5 as far as school districts.
Cherry Creek does rank a little higher.
Yep, as far as like, but they're both in the top 5 in Colorado, so it's like, man, you want Tom Brady, you want Aaron Rodgers, like, there could be some some differences there, but at the end of the day, they're both winners. They're both strong. I don't think either person is complaining who you have on your team. Douglas County's been extremely competitive as far as sports as well lately. Cherry Creek has definitely got a lot of state championships, and they're known for being athletically competitive as well as academically. But it's really hard. And just I'll give you guys some personal opinion. We're shopping and doing a home for myself personally right now, and we are looking from Southeast Aurora to Parker, and now we are in Franktown, right on the cusp of Parker, and I couldn't be happier, right? So they're both that similar as much as we pride ourselves on being fathers and good school districts and commute to stores and making sure that the home can be taken care of and we can grab groceries and whatever we're looking for. You don't feel a difference. You do, like where I'm at here in Franktown, you do have a little bit more acreage. You get 3 to 5 acres out here. That's something that I'm super, super excited about. But outside of that, everything else is so similar, even for myself being my own customer right now. Either one of them are great. It really just comes down to the home, the lot, the views, and the acreages that we like. So I guess that would be a difference is if you are going to be coming down to different spots in Castle Rock or on the backside as we get to Franktown and Park, there is some spots where you can get some more land. And if that's for you, yes, we can help you answer some of those questions. But the heart of Castle Rock or the heart of Southeast Aurora, you're not going to get like those 3+ acres.
No, and honestly, that goes for the entire Denver metro area.
Yeah.
Like, down on the south side here is one of the very few places where you're still very close to everything that you would need, but you can still get some acreage.
Correct.
The majority of the metro area, guys, they just don't have that. So that is one thing that people are kind of learning once they start looking at homes out here is like, oh yeah, you just don't find acre lots everywhere.
Right. And the one consideration, like when you're going down to Castle Rock or like where we're at today, yes, there is a little bit more of a commute to the airport, right? So Southeast Aurora, it's right off of you take 470 north. you're to the airport within 20 minutes. If you have to travel a lot, Southeast Aurora might be a great benefit for you. You're probably more like a 45-minute drive to the airport if you're going to be down in parts of Castle Rock. But I would say Southeast Aurora, because it's on elevation out there, you do have views of the mountains, and they're gorgeous. But as you kind of come down into Castle Rock, you feel like you're in the actual mountains and surrounded by the pine trees and some really cool stuff. So both great options, but yes, great point. Those are definitely a little bit different.
What we find is that whether people are starting their search in Southeast Aurora, Castle Rock usually ends up on their search list as well. Vice versa. We'll talk to some people and they're super set on Castle Rock, and we're always suggesting that we look at Southeast Aurora.
Yeah.
They are very, very interchangeable, which is why we wanted to make this video, because we get a lot of questions about, hey, what are the real differences between the two?
Well, and something else that we're finding is that as much as we love making these videos,
That's right.
we actually love more to help you guys with your real estate
Imagine
needs.
that.
And yes, we are real estate brokers,
Yeah.
licensed here in the state of Colorado.
Yeah.
So yes, that number that's popping back up below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages,
Yeah.
and those emails. So if there's something we can do for you, we would love to. But with that being said, you guys enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend, and we will see you very soon.
All right, see you guys.